Right now at 6, Joplin police released the name of a suspect wanted for a shooting on Main Street.
And we're starting off the morning really chilly today with a frost advisory, but we'll warm up a lot, and I'll have all those details in just a bit.
Plus, some Joplin residents expressed frustration over the handling of campaign signs.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
It's a Thursday, one more day till Friday in the weekend. I know for you that might not sound as exciting as it is for me and most of you at home, but you know, we're trucking along through the week for sure.
Yes, we are. I will be back on the weekend show this weekend, so you should tune in for that. We've got some storms coming in on Saturday, but until then, right now, 37, so rather chilly out there. Wind chill values also still pretty low 30s, upper 20s right now. Good visibility and humidity still pretty high, but we could see that start to take a dip as we move into the later morning hours. And winds also pretty light right now, but also could change as we get into the later in the day. Temperatures across the region still pretty chilly. 32 in Iola, 39 in Fort Scott, Nevada 37. So all of our northern counties are in the low 30s, continuing on through some of our counties in Missouri as well. And that makes sense because we do have a frost advisory in effect for all of our counties in Missouri and a few of our northern counties and some right on that Kansas-Missouri border. This is in effect until Friday at 8 a.m. So we've got frost through this morning at 8. And then again, starting about 4 a.m. is when the frost will start to develop tomorrow morning, continuing on until about 8 a.m. Sun comes back out, melts everything away, so not long lived, but if you've got any plants outside, you might want to bring them inside tonight, just in case of that frost in the morning. Now, we don't have any rain on the forecast tonight, tomorrow, not until Saturday. And as we plan for our day today, temperatures will warm up quite a bit into the mid-60s as we get across the region. Sun comes out pretty much all day long. May see a cloud here or there as well, but it's going to be a pretty nice day. We may have a concern for fire weather, and I'll have all those details in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, Joplin police released the identity of the suspect in Monday's shooting on Main Street. That suspect is 33-year-old Trent Cobb of Joplin. Police say he should be considered armed and dangerous, and he's wanted for charges of first-degree assault and armed criminal action. Those charges stem from Monday night's shooting of a man at 1817 South Main. Police say Cobb shot a man in the abdomen, though we don't know the victim's current condition. Joplin police have released the identity of a teen who died in a crash on April 1st. The crash happened near the intersection of 32nd Street and Prigmore Avenue. Authorities say a pickup driven by 19-year-old Cody Schaefer was headed east on 32nd when it hit a traffic light pole and caught fire. Schaefer was pronounced dead at the scene. Well, just before 10 p.m. last night, fire broke out at the North Park Apartments on East Newen Road in Joplin. Firefighters arrived observing smoke and flames. They began evacuating occupants with help from neighbors, and everyone was out safely. The large 3-story structure is located on the south side of the complex, and it's comprised of 24 apartments. But firefighters were able to stop the spread of fire, and only 6 apartments were damaged. The Joplin Fire Marshal is investigating, and we anticipate updates today from Joplin fire officials. Montgomery County, Kansas authorities have arrested a couple of suspects in a burglary and theft case near the Coffeyville Industrial Park. A caller had spotted a car fleeing from a barn where a chain had been removed. Police say they found the car with the 2 suspects and stolen property inside. Charges against Robert Michael of Coffeyville, Kansas, and Jacob Lind of Altamont, Kansas include burglary, theft, and criminal damage to property. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment rescinds a stream advisory for Shoal Creek from the Missouri state line to the confluence with the Spring River and south to the Oklahoma state line in Cherokee County. KDHE issued the advisory Tuesday as a result of a raw sewage release near Joplin. Sewer maintenance staff determined a pressure main was leaking in the McClellan Park. City staff are continuing the cleanup process and monitoring the repair. The KDHE has deemed the stream safe for secondary contact like wading and livestock use. Two of our local elections ended in ties Tuesday. Those were for the offices of Alderman of Ward, one in Carterville, Missouri, and a board spot for the village of Milford. In both instances, the candidates will have a say on how the tie gets broken. Options used in the past include a special election or a coin toss. Well, during Tuesday night's Joplin City Council meeting, some citizens expressed frustration over what they see as tampering with campaign signs. Brian Evans claimed his signs opposing the capital improvement sales tax were obscured and removed by the chairman of the Capital Improvement Sales Tax Committee, Ben Levens. After listening to the video, Levens admits he removed 3 signs from private property.
I did tell all of my committee members that they can take down signs if they put up signs on your property or somebody that you know is their private property and they don't have permission to have those signs there. You can remove those signs.
Levin says there was some confusion over whether property owners had permitted the signs. Most area schools are just a month away from wrapping up the school year. Now, a lot of administrators are struggling with how to retain and hire new and qualified teachers. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
Yeah, I think right now it's a big time where you start to see a lot of teacher movement.
As the 2023-2024 school year comes to a close, schools in our area are taking steps to retain the teachers they have and attract new ones.
We're lucky a little bit. We've had a couple positions here at the middle school, and we've been able to fill those positions, and we've had a good amount of applicants for those positions.
Jonathan Wingert is the principal at Webb City Middle School. He says a big part of his job is supporting the teachers he has.
I want to take care of our teachers because the better that I can take care of them, or we as an administration can take care of our teachers, then the better our teachers can take care of our students.
When it comes to teacher shortage, Principal Wingert says there's not much of one here in Webb City. However, other school districts in our area, like McDonald County, are switching to 4-day school week to hopefully retain teachers and bring in qualified ones. The same can be said for Baxter Springs. Their school district is on the verge of wrapping up its first year of 4-day school weeks.
As far as recruiting for teachers, which is what we're doing this for, we've got openings and we've had several applicants.
Though Superintendent Pendergraft is confident 4-day school weeks will play a part in retention, he says it's still something they will continue to review.
We like what we see so far, but obviously we'll evaluate this on an annual time frame. But again, we like what we see, but at the same time, we want to make sure we thoroughly investigate this each year.
When it comes to retaining teachers, solutions seem to be varied, whether it's a shorter school week, higher salaries, or just simply checking in on your teachers. All of them could be solutions. But now the question is, how do we get more teachers in the schools? Reporting in Baxter Springs, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The Webb City Middle School held a hiring fair yesterday afternoon to help recruit teachers and other school staff positions. Both the districts say they also rely on word of mouth as a big recruitment tool. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Biden administration is backing off on refilling America's emergency oil stockpile. Plus, President Biden and the leader of Israel will speak for the first time since Monday's deadly airstrike on aid workers in Gaza. And meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney returns with another look at your Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
In Jay, Oklahoma.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, a former employee of Kanye West has accused the hip-hop mogul of discrimination and retaliation. Trevor Phillips made the allegations in a lawsuit filed Tuesday against the rapper, whose legal name is Ye. This suit also names the controversial artist Yeezy's company and his Los Angeles-based K-12 Christian private school, Donda Academy. Phillips accuses West of treating the black staff considerably worse than white employees, calling the discrimination severe. He says West would scream and berate black employees while sparing the white staff of such treatment. Phillips, who is black, said he felt targeted and was threatened with physical violence. The judge presiding over Donald Trump's upcoming criminal trial in New York has refused to delay it. The former president's legal team filed a motion to delay his hush money case until the Supreme Court rules on his presidential immunity claim. But Judge Juan Merchan denied that motion. He said Trump's lawyers should have filed it months ago and not waited until March. This is the case related to payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 election. As of now, it is slated to begin April 15th. Merchan has previously stated Mr. Trump's attorneys can object to material they think are tied to presidential acts when they are introduced in court. The Biden administration is backing off on refilling America's emergency oil stockpile. The Energy Department says the administration will no longer buy up to 3 million barrels of crude for the reserve site in Louisiana. The department says the shift comes amid rising prices at the gas pump. According to AAA, the national average has climbed by 20 cents over the past month to $3.55. Prices have climbed over fears that the war in the Middle East could escalate and disrupt oil supplies. Soon, Mr. Biden, the president and the leader of Israel, will speak for the first time since Monday's deadly airstrike on aid workers with the World Central Kitchen in Gaza. 7 people were killed, including a U.S.-Canadian dual citizen. The strike, which Israeli officials say was a grave mistake, was drawn outrage here in the U.S. and around the world, with the Biden administration also facing renewed pressure over its unwavering support of Israel. The organization's founder, Chef Jose Andres, is also speaking out, saying that his team coordinates its movements with Israel's military and that he believes the aid workers were systemically targeted. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
Today, President Biden is set to speak with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu by phone. Their first conversation since Monday's strike by Israeli forces, which killed 7 humanitarian workers with World Central Kitchen, the food charity founded by celebrity chef Jose Andres.
Accountable for the World Central Kitchen strike, Mr. President.
Yesterday, President Biden ignored questions from reporters on the strike, though earlier this week he said he was outraged and heartbroken. The Biden administration says it's awaiting the results of Israel's investigation of the incident, which Netanyahu has called unintentional.
This incident was a grave mistake.
This was not just a bad luck situation where, we dropped the bomb in the wrong place.
Chef Andres told Reuters he believes his workers were targeted.
IDF knew of our movements. The route was clear. The communication was clear.
Netanyahu has faced criticism and backlash at home and abroad due to his overall handling of the conflict. Israeli War Cabinet member Benny Gantz, a political rival of Netanyahu's, is calling for new elections in September.
I believe that the Israeli society needs to renew its contract with its leadership.
The bodies of the slain World Kitchen aid workers have been transported out of Gaza, and the organization has suspended operations there. The United Nations is also halting the nighttime movements of its aid workers for 48 hours to consider security issues. It's all in the aftermath of Monday's strike. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Chef Jose Andres told Reuters he doesn't know when World Central Kitchen will resume operations in Gaza. The United Nations says nearly 200 aid workers have been killed in Gaza and the West Bank since this latest war between Israel and Hamas began last October. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Lindsay with a look at your forecast.
So temperatures right now starting off pretty chilly, but we'll warm up nearly 25 degrees today as we get into the later hours, which could be a concern for fire weather. We'll have all those details for you in just a bit.
Learning Alliance.
Well, former four-legged residents of the Tropicana in Las Vegas are searching for new homes after the hotel closed its doors. Shauna Khalifi has more on what employees are doing to help keep these cats safe.
Longtime employees say it's the friendships they've made at the Tropicana that will last long after the hotel is gone. From human to feline, many have built strong bonds with a group of cats who've been longtime residents at the Tropicana.
Everybody from housekeeping to PBX, a lot of the bartenders, everybody on all different shifts will come in and feed them. And they know everybody when you drive up. They know the sound of your car and they come running.
As soon as the Tropicana announced its closing date, Kathy and Pat, who are both bartenders at the hotel, took on the task of trapping the cats and moving them to a safe home before the building comes down.
Once there's going to be a fence around here, we don't know if they're going to be able to get out over the fence. And I don't know where they're going to go from here. And they used to being fed. So we're just
I've fed
assuming.
them for at least 12 years, maybe 15.
For the last 2 weeks, they've been setting up traps and spending hours looking for the cats around the property after their late night shifts until 2 a.m. They've caught 8 cats so far.
A few people here in the hotel have taken them to foster until they can get socialized, until they can get adopted out.
But they're still looking for 7 to 12 more, including a kitten and an elderly cat named Grandpa.
Grandpa's the oldest one that's got a little bit of hairballs. We're trying to catch him. He's beautiful, and he's the feisty one that is just eluding us right now.
Kathy and Pat say the Tropicana cats are just as much a part of the Tropicana family as anybody else. Pat even built a catio in her yard to house some of the Tropicana cat family until they can be adopted out.
Well, I certainly hope those kitties find a new home. Now here's Lindsay with a quick look at your forecast.
We start off the morning with a frost advisory in effect until Friday at 8 a.m. So it's going to continue through tomorrow morning as well. We do warm up quite a bit today, nearly 25-degree warm up as we get to the mid 60s for our high today. But that does push some concern of fire weather, and I'll have all those details right after the break.
Your lives.
We're still pretty chilly this morning, but sun's starting to come up, which could help with those temperatures. Now, taking a look out, traffic, you see some school buses, traffic starting to pick up, even out in Pittsburgh. We're seeing more cars here and there, getting a little bit closer to going off to school and work and getting ready for your day. Taking into account all these cool temperatures, we're still in the 30s across the region, 32 still in Iola. Down in the southern counties in the 40s, so pretty decent, although these wind chill values are still in the low 20s. As we warm up today to the mid 60s, we're only getting to wind chill values in the 30s, so it's still going to be a pretty chilly day, but not as cold as it was yesterday. But we do have this frost advisory in effect until Friday morning at 8 a.m. So tonight was a concern, and tomorrow night will be a concern for frost, mostly in our Missouri counties, but even on that Missouri-Kansas border and some of our northern Kansas counties, we do have this frost advisory in effect until tomorrow morning. We don't have any rain in the forecast, not until Saturday, so for the next couple of days, it's going to look pretty nice. Still pretty chilly though. Temperatures right now about 36 when you're on your way to work or school. Light winds and northwest, not too bad, but they do start to gust up to about 25 miles per hour as we move into a little bit later in the afternoon. Temperatures warm up to about 62 across the region, mid 60s, and we will see some winds pick up still, mostly in our northeastern counties. That's going to continue on until about 5 o'clock. Then that's when they'll start to die down, and we'll have some calm winds for tonight. But pair that with low humidity values, and that's where we see those fire weather concerns. Right now, humidity percentages still in about 60 to 70 percentile range. But as we get a little bit later into the morning and early afternoon hours, that's when we're going to start to see these percentages drop down to lower than 40%. As we move into tomorrow, fire weather will still be a concern tomorrow during the day as well with low humidity values, but Other than that, it's going to be a pretty nice day. We start the morning off with a bit of frost right after about 4 a.m. all the way until 8 a.m. Sun comes out, melts it all away. Temperatures get up to mid to upper 60s, maybe some counties even hitting 70s. We can thank that ridge that forms over our area, bringing us those nice couple of days. Short-lived though, because we do have some rain coming in Saturday night. Not too long of a rain event though, ending Sunday morning to give us another nice couple of days. But we do have a secondary low pressure system moving in on Monday night into Tuesday. Clouds roll in a little bit earlier on Monday. Might be cause an issue for anyone wanting to watch the solar eclipse. But other than that, pretty nice looking 10 days. We've got some rain chances in there, but temperatures in the 70s. And back to Health Watch with Elise.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Women who experience menopause on the earlier side may be at an increased risk of having cognitive problems later in life, but only if they are also at higher risk of cardiovascular disease. The study in the journal Neurology found female participants scored lower on cognitive tests than men after 3 years if they experienced menopause before the age of 49 and had cardiovascular risk factors such as diabetes and high blood pressure. People over 60 who want to avoid exposure to pneumonia-causing bacteria may want to reduce their contact with young children. A study presented at the European Congress of Clinical Microbiology and Infectious Diseases finds older Americans in daily contact with little kids were 6 times more likely to test positive for bacteria than those who had no contact with children. And a new study finds first-time mothers with breech pregnancies significantly lower their risk of complications if they deliver by C-section instead of traditional delivery. But researchers in Denmark say C-section births can increase the risk of uterus rupture and subsequent pregnancies. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
I am ready. Then take a spin on the Wheel of Fortune.
Right now at 6:30, Pittsburgh High's Culinary Dragons make their grill mark on a statewide competition.
And we start the morning off a little bit chillier, but we'll start to warm up about 25 degrees. I'll have all those details in just a bit.
Plus, an area nonprofit is giving high school students a way to say yes to the dress.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
And you know, it's shaping up to be a pretty nice spring-like Thursday for us.
It is a little bit.
First month of April.
A little breezy, but
yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are warming up about 25 degrees today. Started off a little bit cool.
I can get on board with that.
Definitely with the sun coming out. It is a big fan of that. We'll take a look outside and see what we can expect for your day. 37 degrees out in Joplin and surrounding counties, still sticking in the 30s. Feels like it's the lower 30s though with those wind chill values, and you could even feel maybe upper 20s, so a little bit cooler to your start of Thursday. Sun comes up in about 20 minutes and that'll warm us up quite a bit. We've got a 25-degree jump for our high today. Winds are pretty light though, and across the region we're still pretty cold. 32 in Iola, coldest temperature out here. Sedan 35, so we will see these temperatures warm up quite a bit, but we have a frost advisory in effect just because they are so cold right now, and it stays in effect until Friday morning at 8 a.m. for most of our counties, all of them in Missouri and a few on that Missouri-Kansas border and a few in our northern Kansas counties. These are going to stay in effect until tomorrow morning. Frost typically develops right after about 4 a.m. So 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. is when you can expect that frost development. We don't have any rain in the forecast until Saturday. So for the next couple of days, we're going to warm up quite a bit. Sun stays out all the next beginning half of the weekend, and today sunny all day long. We warm up to mid 60s, a lot better than what we saw yesterday, and I'll have all those more details for you in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you soon, Lindsay. Thanks. Well, PSU yesterday celebrated the school's long history. The Apple Day event celebrates the school's first president, as well as funding for the school's first permanent building, Russ Hall, back in 1903. It also helps to bond current students with the alumni and events that have paved the way toward today.
To kind of just show our appreciation for all of our donors and all the support that they give us here while we are still current students. A lot of them are typically alumni, so they've been in our shoes before, and so it's just a good way for them to give back, and we want to give them that recognition of giving back towards us.
Apple Day is the longest running celebration in Pitt State history. Well, Fort Scott High School hosted a career fair yesterday. The fair featured more than 100 booths. The event introduces high school students to career opportunities in the region and prepares students for the educational requirements.
Because a lot of our kids don't know what it takes to have those careers, or what those careers are made of, or what kind of education you need to have those careers. So this gives our students an opportunity to talk to these businesses and schools about their options.
The event provided breakfast, lunch, and prizes. The Pittsburgh High School Culinary Dragons have something new to brag about. The team just placed 6th place in a statewide competition in Wichita in their first year. The competition, Pro Start, is hosted by the National Restaurant Association Education Foundation program. The program teaches restaurant hospitality management and not just culinary arts. The kids on the Dragons gave the credit of their success to good old-fashioned teamwork.
Place for management, a 7th place for the culinary program, and the students have to do it all. I have to sit back and give ideas, but I can't tell them, but I can teach them the techniques that they want to do. They design their menu, they design their food truck for management. They did the whole thing, a complete business plan for the food truck, layout of the truck, everything. It was wonderful.
Good old-fashioned teamwork indeed. The 8 students on the team each won a $500 scholarship. The For State nonprofit is helping high schoolers find their perfect prom dress free of charge. More than 40 dresses will be available for donation this weekend. Different colors, styles, and sizes are among the options. The event is organized by the Dream Center of the 4 states.
If I didn't have a dress that I liked, I wouldn't go to prom.
Yeah, I think having the best dress is like, not the best dress, but like the dress that you feel the most comfortable in is very important.
We are excited to be able to do those, to give those away to people in the community that might need them for prom.
The event organized is happening this Saturday in Galena. Other clothes will also be available for donation. For more information, go on to over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. That's a look at our top stories, and coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We'll see how Apple services were restored after a brief outage that lasted a little over an hour yesterday. And we have a sunny and breezy day today. We'll have what to expect with Lindsay Gaffney in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Call Rattler. Neosho Arts Council free concert in the park, April 16th.
In Consumer Watch this morning, a major tax change in 2017 dropped rates for U.S. businesses. That code is set to expire at the end of next year, but only for small businesses. CBS's Skylar Henry shows us how a coalition of companies are pushing lawmakers to not only keep the rate reduction, but also rewrite the law.
For more than 110 years, craftsmanship has driven the work at Susquehanna Glass Company, tucked in a blue-collar neighborhood in south central Pennsylvania.
They wanted us to be doing monogramming, and we were hand-cutting the monogramming.
Walt Rowan owns the glass etching shop his great-uncle started, but he's worried what will happen to his company's bottom line if a key tax policy expires at the end of next year.
As a small business owner, I make decisions all the time about what do I spend in a given year on salaries, on equipment.
Rowan is co-chair of the national coalition Small Business for America's Future and is urging lawmakers to not let the law lapse and make changes. The 2017 provision cut taxes for larger companies, known as C corporations, from 35% to 21%. Smaller companies that file as a pass-through business also saw a reduction, but from 39% to about 28%.
In the end, the taxing system in this country needs to be perceived by Americans as being fair.
Small business is the backbone of the country. We employ half the people in this country.
Ann Zimmerman owns a small accounting firm in Ohio and says securing a larger tax cut would help her expand, while the expiration of the tax break will leave her stuck.
What's at stake if nothing changes?
The future of small business, and therefore the strength of our economy.
Zimmerman and Rowan say new language needs to be carved out in Congress to help close the gap between small businesses and large corporations. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Columbia, Pennsylvania.
Apple services were restored after a brief outage that lasted a little over an hour yesterday. The problems varied across the App Store, Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, and other services. No word from Apple on what caused the outage. Minnesota-based Abdallah Candies is recalling boxes of sea salt alligators because the products are mislabeled. They don't list which nuts as an ingredient, which poses a risk for those with allergies. The impacted 8-ounce boxes have a chocolate-covered cherries label with the code 0315 on the bottom. The FDA says no illnesses have been reported so far. Consumers are urged to return the products to their place of purchase. And as millions of Americans prepare for Monday's total solar eclipse, companies are rolling out products to celebrate the celestial event. Starting tomorrow, Krispy Kreme will have a total solar eclipse donut featuring Oreo cookie accents. Sonic is selling a blackout slush float that's a dragon fruit and cotton candy flavored black slush topped with ice cream and sprinkles. Sun Chips is giving away free bags of Solar Eclipse limited edition pineapple habanero and black bean spicy Gouda chips online, but only for 4 minutes and 27 seconds, the length of the eclipse. Recent labor and savings data is raising concerns of a looming retirement crisis, with many Americans reportedly struggling to save. New bank rate data shows that just 44% of U.S. adults could afford to pay an emergency expense of $1,000 or more from their savings. Reporter Michael Yoshida brings us more on what is leading to this retirement concern and what you can do to set yourself up for success in the future.
The number of U.S. workers in the labor market over the age of 75 is expected to nearly double over the next decade, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics.
People don't always do what's in their best interest, and a lot of people haven't saved enough money for their retirement.
As some struggle to make ends meet, they're tapping into their 401k and retirement plans early, while pension plans have gone nearly extinct and fear over Social Security solvency looms. So, what are some things you can do to prepare if your retirement is still far off?
The most important thing to do is to really understand compound interest and realize that a little money now goes much farther than a lot of money later.
Mitchell Krause, founder of Capital Intelligent Associates, says disciplined and consistent savings, even if it's just a little, is critical.
There's your current self, which always wants to go and have fun and eat out and do all sorts of fun things. And there's your future self, who's going to want to do that too. But you also don't wake up one day and say, hey, if I just saved a little bit more, did a little bit more things, I'd be in a much better position now.
And for those a little closer to retirement age, it sounds simple, but Krause says,
really take the time and understand your situation. Most people don't have a budget. Most people don't know how much money they have. They don't know how far that will go in retirement. And a little bit of research can either prod you to go a little bit further or put your mind at ease.
I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Lindsay with another look at your forecast.
Starting off today, we had a frost advisory in effect until 8 a.m. on Friday. So the frost is going to be coming back around after 4 a.m. tomorrow. Be prepared for that. Bring all your indoor plants or outdoor plants inside for the night. And in addition to that, as we warm up today, winds start picking up And we do see humidity values drop down to lower than 40%, which is a concern for fire weather. It's going to happen again tomorrow, and we will keep you updated on that, with the next rain chance not coming in until Saturday. We have a low pressure system moving in Saturday night, but until then, fire weather is a concern, and the frost advisories are in effect until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Now it's almost time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. They're up after the break, but first, let's see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, award-winning actor Andrew Scott talks with Anthony Mason about his latest role playing the killer con man, Tom Ripley. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
People shop at Johnson Floor & Home. Important date. Get your tickets now.
Well, it's time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries across the 4 states, starting today with Walker Shanholzer, who turns 2 today from McCune. Happy birthday, Walker.
And a double digits birthday for Emily Black, turning 10 today. Have an awesome day, love, from Daddy, Love, Georgia, Baby Danny, Grandma, Lexi, Olivia, Lizzie, and Judson.
And over in Girard, Chance Gillard is turning 15 today. Happy birthday, Chance.
Cleo Jones is turning 89 today from Weir, Kansas. Happy birthday, Cleo.
And continuing our birthday list with Shirley Carey, who's turning 90 today from Fort Scott. Happy birthday, Shirley. Now, that was a bit of a small list, and we'd definitely like to see some more names on there to celebrate with you. So be sure to submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. Make sure to include those photos and birthday messages, and to meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen. Now over to Lindsay with a check of the forecast.
And right now we see sun starting to come up, a really gorgeous sunrise for us this fine Thursday morning. Traffic is starting to increase as everyone's getting ready to start your day, go to work and school today. Almost close to the weekend, so just one more day for that morning traffic commute. Temperatures across the region are pretty chilly though, still in the 30s for most of us. Some of our southern counties reaching the 40s, good for them, but with everyone in those 30-degree range, and not to mention the wind chill values dropping to the 20s, only warming up to the wind chills getting up to the upper 30s today, it's going to be a pretty chilly day. So we have a frost advisory in effect until Friday morning at 8 a.m. for all of our Missouri counties, some counties north Kansas and on that Missouri-Kansas border. And this is going to continue starting. Frost develops right around 4 a.m. tomorrow. But if you have any outdoor plants, you may want to bring them inside for that frost tomorrow. We don't have any rain on the forecast or clouds. It's going to be a really nice day today. Temperatures only warming up to about 67, but it is a nice jump from this 36 degrees, and it's pretty light winds though today. Clear skies all day long. May see a cloud here or there, but overall, pretty nice day. Winds start to gust up to about 25 miles per hour as we get a little bit later into the morning, into the afternoon hours. We'll start to see winds start to pick up right around 9:30 in the morning. Continuing on right before 5 is when they start to diminish, and then we're going to have a pretty calm night. But because we have these winds picking up right about the time that these humidity values start to drop, we do have a fire weather concern. Right now, percentages still 70% across the region, some areas dropping down to 60% humidity. These will drop as we get to early afternoon hours. So right when those winds are gusting about 20-25 miles per hour, not fast winds, but these will drop down to less than 40%, which is when we start to be concerned about that fire weather. Now tomorrow we're going to have the same concern for fire weather as temperatures do continue to warm up to the upper 60s, maybe even hitting the 70s, and not to mention starting off the day with a morning frost. About 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. is when that frost will develop, but by 8 a.m. sun comes out, will melt everything away. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty nice day. Winds shift out of the east tomorrow, pretty light still, about 5-10 miles per hour. And we can thank that ridge that forms over our area, giving us the calm winds, sunny skies, nice couple of days ahead. This continues all the way until Saturday. Clouds kind of roll in, and then Saturday night, that's when we're going to start to see this low pressure system move into our area, giving us some rainfall for the day. That clears out pretty quickly though. By Sunday morning, we're clear out of the rain, and then we have another chance of rain moving in Tuesday. We have 2 low pressure systems this week, the one that affects us Saturday night, and then the secondary low pressure system that will start to make its way into our area Monday late evening into Tuesday. That stretches all the way until the early hours on Thursday. Coming up when the KOAM morning news switches over to Fox 14, we will hear how a first grader is being praised for his efforts when his teacher passes out in the middle of a lesson.
If you listen to your heart, you'll hear the Ozarks calling.
Blue Jess Barrett, a 4-state hero.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Joplin police are searching for 33-year-old Trent Cobb of Joplin. He's wanted for charges of first-degree assault and armed criminal action. Those charges stem from the Monday night shooting of a man at 1817 South Main. Police say he should be considered armed and dangerous. Montgomery County, Kansas authorities have arrested Robert Michael of Coffeyville, Kansas, and Jacob Lind of Altamont, Kansas for burglary, theft, and criminal property damage. A caller had spotted a car fleeing from a barn where a chain had been stolen. Police say they found the car with the 2 suspects and stolen property inside. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment rescinds a stream advisory for Shoal Creek in Cherokee County. It was determined that a pressure main was leaking in McClellan Park. The repair has been made and the cleanup process has begun. The KDHE has deemed the stream safe for secondary contact like wading and livestock use. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And checking out weather, we have a frost advisory in effect until Friday morning at 8 a.m. So it is a concern this morning and tomorrow night. Temperatures warm up into the 60s though, so we will have a nice couple of days before our next chance of rain moving in Saturday, dropping those temperatures just a bit. Then we'll have another couple of nice days. Now Monday, we may have some clouds rolling in around the time of the eclipse, so be prepared for that. You may want to make other plans.
But a warmer weekend ahead of us is certainly something to look forward to.
And the rain on Saturday, not coming in until Saturday night. So most of your day is pretty good.
Absolutely. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making cracker onion pie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your mornings continue on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we'll learn how people who are blind or visually impaired can enjoy the solar eclipse.
Plus, Janice McCacken joins us in the studio to talk about the Power of Pink event. But that'll wrap it up for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.